Hello, everybody. Suzanne Kellner-Zinck, Dawning Visions Hypnosis. One of the most intriguing things that I have ever found out was why it is that mental health providers speak so negatively about hypnotism to the point where they scare their patients from even trying it. And I found this out actually in my very first course in my doctorate in psychology. We had a textbook. And in that textbook, chapter 4, gave an excellent accounting of the history of hypnotism. Do you think that chapter was assigned? No, it was not. And yet, as I pointed out to my instructor and to every classmate via a post, that this is what they needed to know in order to truly learn how to help people heal. You can talk all the psychological, psychiatric theory you want. And we see the results. Over-medication, really bad side effects, toxicity causing kidneys to slow down and even die, liver problems occurring, because these medications are toxic to the human body when they are being taken over a period of many years. And that happened to me while I was on lithium many years ago. And luckily, I had a psychiatrist who knew what she was doing and got me the hell off that stuff immediately. And about, a few weeks later, Todd James helped me get rid of the bipolar, which in those days was known as manic depression, and 5 minutes of timeline therapy. Yeah, 5 minutes timeline therapy instead of 13 years of seeing a psychiatrist, a psychologist, many years of group therapy. For what? Not being healed, I can tell you that much. So what I want you to understand is that they don't learn about it. So they don't have a right to have an opinion about it. What they need to do is be educated about it and learn how to use it and integrate it into their practices. So maybe, just maybe perhaps, their patients have the ability to heal and move on with life without all the symptoms that their so-called mental health diagnoses gives them, including the stigma involved in having a diagnosis. Because this is the other thing. In America, I don't know about the rest of the world. Well, I do actually, because I've lived in 5 countries and have visited 17. Nowhere else does the general population sit there and talk about their neurodiversity or their mental illnesses. Oh, I'm so depressed, I can't do this or that. Oh, I have OCD. Oh, this person's a narcissist, that's why I can't deal with them, etc., etc., etc. It is sick. And we need to understand as well that the Diagnostic Statistical Manual has no empirical evidence behind it. Zero, zilch, none. None. I did the research on it. There's a bunch of members of the American Psychiatric Association coming together to put together the categories, as they call the labels they give people. And that's why we have so many overlapping symptoms to various diagnoses. Like, what is the difference between, a bipolar person who has psychotic events versus a schizophrenic? What is the difference between someone with ADD and hypomania? What is the difference between bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder? Not to mention all of the clients I've had come through my practice of hypnotism who are told that they had some kind of personality disorder and they had no personality disorder at all, because if they had a personality disorder, I would not have been able to help them heal and move on with their lives. Personality disorders are not treatable. Yeah, you can help people to have a little bit easier life, but I was raised by a borderline personality disordered mother, now deceased for several years, and trust me, she was in therapy for ages, and her therapist made things worse rather than better because I didn't know how to have the appropriate boundaries, one in particular while I was in high school, 10 years ago. So, what I'd like you to all understand is this very simple fact. No one can have an opinion about a subject they know nothing about. And being fearful of something because you know nothing about it means you better get yourself educated. And I'm here to tell you that I have a fabulous training for those of you who are interested in actually helping your patients heal to do just that. Because I don't know about you, but I know for me, I didn't want labels, and I didn't want psychiatrists, and I sure as hell didn't want toxic medications ruling my life for the rest of my life. And I found a way to not have to deal with it ever again. And that went back to, 2004. We're into 2025, almost halfway through the year. It's the month of May already. Time flies by too quickly when you get older. And I can tell you this, it's the best thing I ever did was learn everything there was to learn about hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming, because people use this crap on you every day and you don't even know it. People are so worried about hypnotists for clinical practice. We're here to help you heal. And you have the preachers using it to get money for their churches. They even use it in faith healing. Did you ever wonder why it is that when they touch the person who wants to be healed, they fall to the floor? Yeah, it's because they're overwhelming all their senses. The person really believes that they can be healed, and voila, they're healed. It's a form of hypnosis, people. Get with it. If you don't know what you're looking at, you don't know what it is. What about being repeatedly given the same mantra over and over and over again by a propagandist? We call these people mass media news. They told the same thing over and over again. Don't you think this is the way that you learned how to do your multiplication tables and your chemistry tables? Well, this is the way we learn when we're younger, and it's certainly how you can be hypnotized by people who want you to do what they want you to do instead of having your own mind. So I suggest everyone learn what is hypnosis, how is it used, both productively and against you, because it is each and every day. And your largest, shall we say, hypnotist is your computer and your smartphone. Those are your largest hypnotists that you have, because you spend more time on them than anything else. You're in and out of the state every freaking day. When you wake up in the morning, you're in a hypnagogic state. When you go to sleep at night, you're in a hypnagogic state. So if you want to give yourself affirmations, make them suggestions, and do it while those times a day, because they'll become hypnotic suggestions. Also realize that anytime you get involved in a beautiful story of fiction, as you're reading or watching a movie, these suspension of reality while you're involved in these stories is a form of hypnosis. Highway hypnosis also, and losing time when you're on the computer. How many times have you spent time on the computer, you thought it was a half an hour and 3 hours went by and you didn't even realize it? Every time you're in a flow state or in the zone, you're in a hypnotic state. You're in and out of it all freaking day long, but because you don't know what it is, you don't know that. But I'm here to educate you so you understand it. And I also want you to know that not all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, because as I just told you, there are people in this world who use it against you, including the advertisers and the politicians and the preachers, every single freaking day. So until you understand what it is, it can't protect your brain from being used by these actors. So I would highly suggest you learn how to use it for your benefit and close out all those people who want to use it against you, so you'll do what they want you to do, because you're being programmed every day. You just don't realize it. My job is to get people out of the state of hypnotism that they're in the societies in which they live, and to create their lives the way that they want them. Healed, happy, fulfilled. And I think every person deserves to have that, especially those who have been finding it really hard to function in life because everything they've been taught in terms of healing, especially where mental health is concerned, is bogus. And I know this because I've been in this field since 1993. Add up the decades, people. I've done so much research on this stuff over all these decades. I have a really huge website. It's getting redone. I don't know why the marketing people I bump to always want to know who's doing my website when I tell them it's being updated, people. Someone's working on it. It's huge. It will take some time. I don't need your services. I don't want your services. I have a really great guy who's been doing my website for 20 plus years. So that's my rant on those folks. But in any case, getting back to hypnosis, it's about time clinical folks learned about how the subconscious mind works. And I can tell you this too. When I work with my clients, I don't work in their subconscious mind. That would be their amygdala, where their emotions reside, and the hippocampus, where their very imperfect memories reside as well. I work in their superconscious, higher conscious mind. That is their connection to the divine, as Carl Jung explained it, the collective unconscious. And whatever they use for their divine, I don't care if it's God, Jesus, universe, nature, Allah, creator, whatever, it's a simple suggestion. We're able to get their defense mechanisms they develop, which caused the dysfunctionality that brought them to me in the first place, out of the way so they can actually heal quickly and effectively and forever in about 97% of the cases. I cannot do anything, nor can any other hypnotist or NLP person do anything to help people with true blown up personality disorders. I did help a guy who called me a long time ago. He thought he was a narcissist. He wasn't a narcissist. Narcissists know all the answers. They would never ask for help. He did have some of the symptomology. And, over talking people was pushing people away, which is why he employed me. He found me on Quora, by the way. He answered a lot of questions on there. So, in any case, he just sent me the most beautiful testimonial on my Facebook page. I was talking about anorexia, and he was talking about how he lost 80 pounds, quite the opposite, and is a guy in his 70s. Not an easy thing to do at that stage in life. He also rebuilt his business, where it's making a lot of money for him again, and he also has been able to build really good relationships with people, which is the reason he came to see me. He did that on his own, folks. I didn't have to ask him. He just did it because he wanted people to understand and realize what can be done if you actually have a practitioner who knows what the hell they're doing. Well, that's it for my rant and my education for today. I sincerely hope you take in these words, think about what I'm educating you about, because to tell you the honest truth, it's about time people woke the hell up. As always, I thank you for spending your time with me. Until next time. Bye-bye.